I wanted to see if you could tell me a little bit about your brokerage and then your business structure. So, first off, let's talk about the brokerage first. Can you give me a background history? Is that the only place you've been? Have you made other stops prior to that? How did you wind up there?
So I'm with Green Star Realty, and we are a high volume boutique brokerage. It is truly family to me, and I did not go anywhere before. This is my one brokerage.
Okay.
And it was a natural progression. I actually used my broker to buy my second home, and I met my broker through his wife, who was in Mom's Club with me. So, right, I'm a wife, a mother, a realtor, servant, but we jived, and when my husband and I were, and our kids were ready to, we had already outgrown our first house, which was 1,176 square feet, which was great for 2 people and 2 dogs, but when you throw in a toddler and an infant,
shrinks really fast.
chaos and stress. So I said, hey, Tracy, does Levi want to help me buy a house? And she was like, of course. So my broker, Levi, is retired military. He was Air Force. He's also a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, which is always good to have if I'm going into a vacant home and I don't feel safe going there. I'm like, hey, can you go check that out for me? I'll send him to the wolves. But they've been in real estate for little over 15 or so years, maybe longer. Don't quote me on the years, but a good enough time and high volume. But we are a small brokerage in comparison to these big box names. Mm-hmm. What I love about the brokerage is their accessibility, right? The broker really works for the agent, because if the agent doesn't do the deal, the broker doesn't make money, vice versa. And they were very open when I said, hey, I'm going to go sit in on a bunch of classes. And he goes, after I want to say it was like my second or third month of classes, he goes, you going to do anything with what you're learning? I said, no, I will. Don't worry. And he goes, are these designations? And they would challenge me and question me on the path I was taking. Are these designations? They're great. You got to pay money to maintain them. Are they going to bring you any business? Well, the answer is yes. It continually brings me business, but they're approachable and they've been through so many scenarios. They also invest. So when I started working with investors, I was picking their brains on how does an investor think? What do they look at? And I'm also an investor, very small scale. But again, I do the same work and I look at the same numbers so I can learn how to analyze. And having the availability to pick their brains and just sound off on things or even just vent. Be like, hey, having a really rough day with XYZ. And they're like, listen, it's normal. This happens. Deals fall apart. It's okay. It's how you get back up. Don't, sure, the moment is the moment, but don't live there. Mm-hmm. Push forward, move forward.
5-second funeral is what we call it.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Mourn it for 5 seconds and you're back to it.
Yeah. Move along. like a dog, right? They see, they sniff, they move along.
Yep.
But they really did. They gave me, I joke and say that they give me enough rope that I can either skip it or I can hang myself with it. Obviously, I prefer skipping rope as opposed to the alternative. But even with, I think we're about 15 or 16 people total. The broker has a team, and then there's a handful of independents. I'm one of those independents. I did not want to join a team. I wanted to be me. Mm-hmm. Because I did not want to take on someone else's identity. Mm-hmm. I have the best experience at being me.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Why wouldn't I be me? And it really helped me get the experience and, they cheered me on. Every time I was like, hey, I got a new buyer. Hey, I'm going on a listing appointment. They're like, keep going. We're so proud of you. You have no idea. And they gave me the leeway. If I wanted to host an open house every day of the week, have at it. And I enjoy open houses. It's how I met a lot of buyers that have eventually worked with me.
Yeah.
I've also met a lot of sellers